welcome back. We've got two gentlemen who join us next in the studio. James Ugochukwu is the co-convener, Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room, as well as Kevin Fineface, who is a security and good governance advocate. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for coming on today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Let me start with you, Mr. Ugochukwu, as CSO. I know you usually monitor these elections and usually sometimes in communication with the Commission. So what is it that, what is the position as we speak about how this first round of elections has gone for you?
Well, the Commission, for instance, are people that we've been working with in terms of strengthening their institutional capacity and giving them all the support they need in terms of recommendation to make the process very credible and, of course, hitch-free. But since this thing happened, of course, we've not had any serious interaction with the Commission in terms of telling us exactly what happened or even responding to our real-time request. Because what Situation Room does is that after the 2007 election, we created a platform where people can respond real-time to election issues. But there are a lot of things that happen on election day, and before then, what we normally do is that we write report to INEC and say, okay, during this election, this is what we saw, this is what happened, and this is our recommendation. The Situation Room model came into being 2010 ahead of 2011 election, and the idea is to escalate issue real time to all the election stakeholders, be it INEC, be it the security, be it other people that are involved in the process. So we've enjoyed that relationship with them in 2011 with Jega and other members of the commission, as the national commissions and all that, 2015 and all that. But this time around, of course, there seems to be serious distance between us during the election. Of course, before the election, we had a lot of interaction with the INEC commission, chairman and all that. And of course, the issue of all these technologies are something that we seriously fought with all we had.
So what you're saying, during the election, you usually have real-time communication with the Commission?
Yes, with the Commission, yes.
And you tried it this time, and what happened?
This time around, it was not as how it used to be.
What happened exactly?
Well, what happened is that we didn't communicate the way we were supposed to communicate.
Okay, that's from your own end?
From our own end.
Why didn't you communicate with them? Because Nigerians wanted to know what was going on.
Well, it's called Independent National Electoral Commission. So if I try to communicate with you and they don't want to respond, maybe
but it's always been independent when you did it in 2015, 2013, like you said.
I cannot force you to talk to me when you don't want to talk to me.
Oh, wait, are you saying that Situation Room tried, but they didn't respond?
Yes, we tried, especially when we're having the issue with the Beavers, the IRF portal. Like I said before, we advocated for the use of technology when the issue was still being tinkered with in the Electoral Act. And this technology were used in all these different off-cycle election, and we extolled it, praised it and all that. And when we started having that IRF uploading issue, it was a shocker to us that this is something that worked perfectly well in the past off-cycle election in Ekiti and Osun and Anambra and all this. What is really happening? We tried to say what is happening. So they are having glitches. What kind of glitches? We couldn't get clear or succinct explanation of what was going on. So these are the things we are looking at here. That didn't happen because if it's something that they responded to us, we have different organizations that we are working together with a situation that can offer suggestions. Those on ICT, those on collation and all that. So okay, this is what we are suggesting.
So Kevin, is this straightforward to you, or is there more to this that meets the eye?
When you say straightforward, what?
In terms of the whole process, how it went?
No, I think what I would say is the whole outcome is actually pre-planned from our own estimation. Having been part of the process in terms of as a voter and at the same time a side monitor, the outcome of the election, I think, is actually a playbook of 2015.
Why do you say so?
If you go back to what happened in 2015, the build-up to the elections and the post-elections, you realize that what we're experiencing now, more like a deja vu experience. The glitches, the deniability. I was here a few months, talked about the IRF thing, if you can remember, and we were promised by one of the INEC staff who said, oh, everything was going to be perfect. We heard the INEC commissioner, the chairman also, the national commissioner made a promise, Festus Okoye made a promise, the chairman made the same promise that it was going to work perfectly well. And so getting to here, I read the press release that was made, talking about they had challenge and all of those things. I think it was not a challenge. I think it was something that was actually deliberately done.
When you say it was deliberately done or pre-planned or playback of 2015, did they promise that there was going to be real-time view of election results in 2015?
A slight change. There was no real-time promise, but what it was promised that we're going to have credible election. It was promised that everything that was going to happen at the polling unit, because then the electoral number allowed for electronic transmission. And so this resulted, so in order to create credibility...
It doesn't allow it either.
Yeah.
It's just real time.
What is transmission, basically? You have what happened at the polling unit, you have a snapshot, send it up there. It's transmission. It's basically transmission. The semantic being used, so just to confuse people, it's basically transmission. When you have your phone used to upload an information, or you use the BVAS technology to upload the information.
Okay.
That's
so which parts of this whole process is it that you say was pre-planned? Because, I mean, just as we highlighted, the BVAS, to a large extent, I mean, many say, yes, they used it for accreditation, it did function as many say they expected. Then there was a component of uploading the results. I think so that are some of the two strategic areas, and in the scheme of the general elections. So what parts are you highlighting that was largely defective? Because if you say this is a pre-planned thing of 2015, it speaks as though you're painting the entire process with one brush.
Well, it's not like painting the entire process with one brush. The experience that I got, let me start with my own experience from the polling unit. The time they came to start the election was around 11 o'clock. I made frantic efforts to make calls to ensure that there. We closed our polling at almost 3 a.m. in the morning. Vote counting stopped at that particular time. The BVAS, the INEC officials that came could not upload the information. They didn't have the password for it. We made effort to make calls until the password was sent. That was done. Okay, upload the information. Oh, they didn't have data in the system. You have similar kind of thing happening. I mean, I've made a lot of calls from other areas, and I realized that there are these patterns that are taking place with the whole process. Now, if these patterns are consistent, then it tells me that there is actually a pre-planned effort to deliberately to have the outcome that we have today. Nigerians, in their numbers, for the first time, came out to vote. My polling unit oftentimes normally do have about 300 to 400. But this last election, we almost had about 1,000. Some even left because they waited for too long and couldn't wait that long. They stayed in the rain, stayed in the scorching sun to ensure that they exercise their franchise. But many were denied that opportunity.
Okay.
So if I make this statement, I'm not actually making a statement just out of my head. I looked at situations. I do a lot of research and analyze things that as they occur. There are technical disenfranchisement that took place, which were not out of place, because, I mean, as much as the commission will say, oh, yesterday it went on well, there are people who actually pander towards ensuring that the result came out the way.
So, Mr. Gochugo, what is it that the CSOs or yours is looking forward to next?
Well, the CSO are depressed at the moment because if we start to accumulate the human, material, and financial resources that was put into this election, so that nobody makes such kind of investment and don't expect something big. For instance, now we are going to the next poll in next week here now and all that. What we are looking at is at least a quick review of what we've done and, of course, getting this thing better. But the conversation we're having now is the aftermath of what we've done. So now, of course, we expect INEC to do better, but do we even have trust that they will do better, given the abysmal poor performance they did now?
What if they tell you that we will do better?
Of course, they've been telling us that all this while, and see what we've got. They've given us several assurances that this transmission is going to be real time. The videos are there, November 11 or so, even the statement and all that, that we are not going back on this. And what did we get at the end of the day? Just to upload results. The most funniest aspect of it is that the same day you can upload National Assembly result, but that of the presidential election couldn't be uploaded. In previous ones, And that is even the reason why we even believe them in the first instance is before the record time of 10 p.m. in the night, Ondo State election, about 80% of the results has already been uploaded in the RF portal. It was just dropping like rain torrents. You know, we are very happy that at last we have a parallel system of and a transparent system of viewing this. But this particular one, it told us that we are ready. There's no going back, and this is what we got. So what we are looking forward now is that maybe or maybe not, but we cannot put our confidence in INEC that next election they are going to, you know, perform very well. If they perform very well, that will be a very big surprise.
What do the CSOs think happened? Even if it's unofficial, maybe what you might have heard your colleagues suspect might have happened.
Well, I take it from the whole electoral process now, the whole, election day process. Number one, the first indication that you have failed is when you start having late arrival of materials to polling units. Because once that starts, it dovetails into late commencement of the polls, late commencement of collation, and that is where the devil entered the ballot box. You know, and at the end of the day, people start questioning the credibility of the election. So, to answer your question succinctly, there was serious either poor preparation by INEC or sabotage by its officials. Because on election day, we've been in the fields, we've been doing this for the past 17, 20 years now. On election day in Nigeria, because of our peculiarity, every place is always on lockdown. In fact, the sweetest day I like because you can move from here to Gwagwalada at the record time you set. So what explainable reason do you have that you cannot move materials from Gariki here to the Gariki environment after planning for a whole full year? A case in point is in Enugu State. The what do you call it, INEC office is just about 100 meters or so. The Okpara Square that have about 14 or even 15 polling units. But they didn't start election there till after 11 or so. So what kind of explanation? You can even carry something on your head and move there. So the point is, INEC either did not train the polling officials very well.
But they uploaded you said they uploaded the National Assembly results. What about the presidential?
Exactly. So that's why
I'm asking, what do you think happened?
It's either an act of sabotage or incompetence in their own part. Because on that election day, somebody called me from a polling unit in Usa here, said that he cannot even log on to the Beavers, to the RF portal. And I asked him, okay, can you check if that machine can browse any other website? He said, yes, I can browse another website. And I okay, this is what they call DOS in ICT, denial of service. They've been denied to access that particular presidential uploading platform, whereas that of National Assembly is, uploading seamlessly.
Well, thank both of you for coming on, James Ugochukwu and Kevin Fineface. Thank you for your time here today.